Counterpoint, the general knowledge music quiz, chaired by Paul Gambaccini.
Hello. Counterpoint reaches the second semi-final, with more heat winners from the past few months playing off for another of the places in the final. Our competitors have proved by now that they know their music, so we may not be making it very easy for them at this semi-final stage. All of today's participants are taking part in COVID-safe conditions from their own homes. Let me invite them to introduce themselves.
Hello, I'm Peter ALMOND. I'm a semi-retired solicitor from Bristol.
Hello, I'm David HALE. I'm an audio technician from South London.
Hello, I'm ANJU SHARDA and I'm a civil servant from Hertfordshire.
Welcome, all of you. The opening round consists of musical general knowledge questions. They're worth 2 points each, and we can offer you a single point for getting a question half right. But if you can't get the full correct answer, I'll pass it down the line to the others for a bonus point. Good luck, everyone. Peter ALMOND, the first question is for you. What connects the following songs? Winds of Change by the Scorpions, Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay by Otis Redding, and Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar.
Do they have the same producer?
I'm afraid that's not it. David HALE, do you have an idea?
Is it whistling?
That's right. They all feature whistling. And David, here's your own question. Here's Mike and the Mechanics with an example of that art form. For 2 points, I'd like you to name the song along with the whistler.
I'm assuming it'll be Paul Carrick who was doing the whistling. Is it called Over My Shoulder, the song?
It is. You get both points. ANJU SHARDA. In March 2020, Opera North presented a whistle-stop version of a Mozart opera based on a Beaumarchais stage comedy. This condensed interpretation, with accordion instead of orchestra, featured the characters Susanna the Maid and the Count and Countess Almaviva. In which production?
Marriage of Figaro?
That's right, for 2 points. Peter ALMOND. We head north for the next piece of music, a rare example of a ballet set in Glasgow. Can you name it?
The only one I can think of is The Miracle in the Gaubles.
Well, it's a good thing that's the one you know, because that's the answer. Sir Arthur Bliss composed Miracle in the Gaubles. David HALE. In one of the more bizarre orchestral projects of recent years, the Royal Philharmonic Concert Orchestra was hired by East Midlands Trains in 2018 to highlight which important railway-related issue?
Oh, I haven't got a clue, I'm afraid.
Does ANJU SHARDA have a clue?
Leaves on the track?
No, it's a fun answer, but it's not worth a point. Peter ALMOND.
The wrong kind of snow.
Another fun answer, but the correct answer is lost property. The orchestra played an ode to my former owner using goods from the Lost and Found office. The piece consisted of 11,304 notes, the approximate number of items lost each year on East Midlands trains. ANJU SHARDA. Let's stay on track with some music from a 2020 album. The Speed of Now, Part 1, is the 11th studio album recorded by a New Zealand-born Australian singer, songwriter, and record producer who is married to Nicole Kidman. After you've heard Superman, I'd like you to tell me his name.
When I was with you, baby, I was Superman. Yeah, we were sky high, there was nothing better when I was with you. Grabbing that live wire, we were Johnny and Jude in a ring of fire. Now you're caught up in my head like a melody of the sweetest summer song that we used to sing. When I was with you, when I was with you.
No idea, sorry.
Does Peter Almond have an idea?
Is it Keith Urban?
It is. Keith Urban, you get the bonus point. Peter, here's your own question. 2020 saw the passing of soul singer Tony Smith, who was a latter-day member of the vocal group The Crystals. In 1980, she worked with trumpeter Tom Brown, co-writing and singing a jazz-funk classic inspired by a neighborhood in the New York City borough of Queens, where Brown was born and raised. Which song was that?
It wasn't Native New Yorker by Odyssey?
No, it wasn't. David Hale, do you know?
I'm afraid. No. Harlem Shuffle. No. Sorry, no.
I'm sorry, that wasn't it. ANJU SHARDA?
No, sorry.
The song was Funkin' for Jamaica, which is a part of Queens. David Hale, in recent years, Stephen Fry has produced audio editions of his book series on Greek myths. Here's one with musical accompaniment. After you've heard the story of chaos, a question will follow.
It was so early on in the life of everything. Very little was settled. But all that was to change. Uranos, the sky, covered his mother Gaia, the earth, everywhere. He covered Gaia in both senses. He covered her as the sky still covers the earth to this day. And he covered her as a stallion covers a mare. When he did so, something remarkable happened. Time began.
Part of the Mythos Suite, recorded in collaboration with the London Symphony Orchestra, along with which British composer of film and TV music, whom Stephen Fry had previously worked with on the film Wild?
Is it Debbie wrote the Andrew Marr theme? That's as much as I know, sorry.
That is worth 1 point, because the Debbie is correct. But the surname, we still have to determine. ANJU SHARDA, do you know it?
Stevenson?
No, it's not Debbie Stevenson. Peter Rahman, do you know?
Yeah, it's Debbie Wiseman.
That's right, and you are a wise man, because that wins you a bonus point. ANJU SHARDA, 2021 is the 40th anniversary of the formation of a popular 80s band, which had an Irish gay man on vocals, a person of color on bass, a blonde Englishman on guitar and keyboards, and a Jewish drummer. This diverse lineup inspired the group's name, which was?
Culture Club.
That's right, for 2 points. Peter Almond, the song you're about to hear has been covered by artists including Emmylou Harris, Burl Ives, and Johnny Cash. This version by Joss Slovic appeared in a moving scene in a recent award-winning film directed by Sam Mendes. Have a listen, then name the film.
I am a poor wayfaring stranger. I'm traveling through this world of woe. Yet there's no sickness, toil, nor danger in that bright land to which I go.
The only one I can think of is the most recent one, 1917.
And that's the correct one to think of, because I Am a Poor Wayfaring Stranger is from 1917. David Hale, the British singer who performed the wordless vocals on Pink Floyd's The Great Gig in the Sky for their 1973 album The Dark Side of the Moon, also covered the Dolly Parton single Love is Like a Butterfly, used in opening titles of the BBC comedy series Butterflies. What's her name?
Gonna kick myself. No, it's eluding me. Sorry.
ANJU SHARDA, do you know?
Is it Barbara something?
No, it isn't Barbara anything. Peter?
I think it's Claire Torrey.
And that wins you a bonus point. Claire Torrey. Finally, in this opening round, ANJU SHARDA. Here's an intermezzo by the French composer Jules Massenet, performed by Nicola Benedetti. I'd like you to name the work and the opera it's from.
It's the meditation from Massenet's, it's on the tip of my tongue, Dias.
You get a point for meditation, but your answer was not close enough for the other point. So I'm going to pass it over to Peter Almond.
I think it's the meditation from Thais, Thais. Yeah, Thais.
That's right, Thais. And you get the bonus point. So the scores after the opening round are: in third place with 4 points, David Hale. Lying second with 5 points is ANJU SHARDA. And in the lead with 8 points, it's Peter Almond. Those scores are important going into the individual round because our competitors must choose a musical category or theme on which to answer their own set of questions. They haven't come prepared with a special topic because they have to pick from a list which I'm about to give them for the first time. Are you ready for me to reveal today's topics? They are a Trivi-Classical Pursuit Board, Law and Order, the Tango, Pop into 1983, and Classical Cakes and Ale. You choose in the order of your scores at this stage. So, Peter, you're in the lead. What would you like?
Law and Order.
ANJU, your choice.
I'll choose Pop into 1983.
And that leaves 3 for David Hale, which are a Trivi-Classical Pursuit Board, the Tango, and Classical Cakes and Ale.
Classical Cakes and Ale, please.
Classical Cakes and Ale. Let's start with David Hale and your specialist questions on Classical Cakes and Ale. The composer of Carmen and the Pearl Fishers has a cake named after him. Which composer is that?
Pass.
It is Bizet. The Bizet cake is a meringue with some buttercream spread between the two halves. For your first musical slice, here's a piece of wedding cake. Can you identify this composer?
Utter guess, Johann Strauss.
I'm afraid it's an incorrect guess. We heard from Saint-Saëns, an excerpt from his Wedding Cake Caprice. Let's drink, and may the brief moment be inebriated with voluptuousness, sings the young romantic Alfredo, in which of Verdi's operas?
Pass, sorry.
It's La Traviata. In which of Humperdinck's operas will you find a house made of gingerbread?
Hansel and Gretel.
That's right. There are your 2 points. Here's music composed by Tom Howe for a popular television reality series which began in 2010. When you've heard Icing on the Cake, I'd like you to name it.
Has to be Bake Off, surely.
It is, surely, Bake Off. And finally, in this round, the drinking song In Taberna Quando Sumus, When We Are in the Tavern, is a medieval poem, part of the collection known as the Carmina Burana, and set to music in the 1930s by which German composer?
Is it Brecht?
No, I'm sorry, it's Karl Orff. And so, David Hale, in that round, you have scored 4 points.
Thank you.
We are now going to pop into 1983 with ANJU SHARDA. One of the most memorable television moments of 1983 was the special celebration of 25 years of Motown Records, where Michael Jackson popularized which dance move during his performance of the song Billie Jean?
Moonwalk.
That's right, for 2 points. This music acknowledges another classic dance routine from that year, 1983. For 2 points, can you name the performer of this award-winning song and the title of the film?
Irene Cara and Flashdance.
That's right, for 2 points. Including the songs Love Cats by The Cure, Red Red Wine by UB40, and Let's Stay Together by Tina Turner, which popular compilation album series was launched in the UK in November 1983 on vinyl and audio cassette?
Now That's What I Call Music.
Now that's what I call a correct answer. In May 1983, alongside Mike Reed, I co-hosted the 1000th edition of Top of the Pops, which Spandau Ballet song, the title track of their third studio album, was #1 that week.
True.
True. It was true. David Bowie enjoyed a string of hits from his album Let's Dance. When you've heard the title song, a question will follow. Here is your question. Producer Tony Visconti had worked on David Bowie's previous 4 studio albums, but for Let's Dance, Bowie chose which now legendary record producer and composer to work with?
Brian Eno.
I'm sorry, it's Nile Rodgers. Finally, in this round, which #1 song from 1983 includes the lyric, "He just smiled and gave me a Vegemite sandwich"?
Men at Work.
And the song?
Land Down Under.
Yes.
You Come from the Land Down Under.
Down Under by Men at Work. And so, ANJU SHARDA, in that round, you scored 10 points. We now move on to see if Peter Almond can enforce law and order. In 2001, which British singer-songwriter and model witnessed murder on the dance floor?
No, it's gone, sorry.
It was Sophie Ellis-Bextor. For your first musical extract, we call in a private detective. But which one?
Yes, it's the theme from Shaft by Isaac Hayes.
That's right. Shaft was played by Richard Roundtree. The Sonny Curtis song, I Fought the Law, written in the late 50s, has been covered many times over the years, perhaps most notably by The Clash. Here's a version recorded in 1972 for the album Memphis. Can you identify this singer?
Sounds like Roy Orbison, but I'm not sure it is.
Well, go with your hunch. It sounds like and is Roy Orbison. One of the most commercially successful rap songs features on the soundtrack to the 1995 film Dangerous Minds, which stars Michelle Pfeiffer as an ex-Marine turned inner-city schoolteacher. The Grammy-winning track by hip-hop artist Coolio begins with a line from Psalm 23:4. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. What is the title of that song?
Fear no evil.
No, it's Gangsta's Paradise. Here's the overture to an opera by Rossini, which premiered in 1817. Can you name it?
That's the Thieving Magpie.
It is indeed The Thieving Magpie by Rossini, fitting nicely into this round of Law and Order, which concludes with this. I'd simply like you to name the multi-award-winning American composer who provided the TV theme music for the series Hill Street Blues, NYPD Blue, The Rockford Files, LA Law, Magnum PI, and Law and Order.
Oh, that's Mike Post.
It is Mike Post, who won his first Grammy Award in his early 20s for arranging Mason Williams' Classical Gas. And so, Peter Almond, in that round you scored 8 points. After the individual round, here's how things stand. Lying third with 8 points is David HALE. In second place with 15 points is ANJU SHARDA. And our leader with just one round to go with 16 points is Peter Almond. It could not be closer. It all hinges on the final round. I'm going to ask our 3 contestants in turn as many questions as they can answer in the space of 60 seconds. There's a point for each correct answer, with nothing deducted for a wrong answer. We start with the contestant lying third. That's you, David HALE. Your minute begins now. Which musician and singer has fronted the bands The Honey Drippers, Band of Joy, and Led Zeppelin?
Robert Plant.
Correct. Complete the title of the 1981 album by the Stranglers. The Gospel According to the...
Men in Black?
Yes. The abbess Hildegard of Bingen was a leading poet and composer during which century?
18th.
No, 12th. Which Puerto Rican superstar is Spotify's most streamed artist of 2020?
Pass.
Bad Bunny. Which hit song by the Byrds borrows verses from the biblical book of Ecclesiastes?
Pass.
Turn, Turn, Turn. Preludes, Etude Tableau, and Moments Musicaux are part of the pianist Sergei Babayan's 2020 album celebrating the work of which composer?
Chopin.
No, it is Rachmaninoff. Which 2019 musical features the songs Not Now, Grandad, Where Have All the Cockneys Gone, and This Time Next Year?
Made in Dagenham?
No, only Fools and Horses. And so, David HALE, in that round, you scored 2 points. And the focus is now on ANJU SHARDA. Your minute starts now. Which female artist bands include Dragon's Playground, The Tourists, and Eurythmics?
Annie Lennox.
Correct. Complete the title of Prince and the Revolution's 1995 album, Around the World in a...
Day.
Yes. Which opera company is resident at the London Coliseum in St. Martin's Lane?
English National Opera.
Yes. Launched in 2012, which American drama series features the fictitious country music stars Raina James and Juliette Barnes?
Pass.
Nashville. Which song by Hot Chocolate begins with the line, I believe in miracles?
You Sexy Thing.
Correct. The piano trios Archduke and Ghost are part of the Smetana Trio's 2020 album celebrating the work of which composer?
Pass.
Beethoven. The 1996 musical Heathcliff, conceived by and starring Cliff Richard, was based on which 19th century novel?
Wuthering Heights.
Yes. Which singer teamed with Mark Ronson for the 2019 song Nothing Breaks Like a Heart?
Miley Cyrus.
Yes. Bjorn again. And so, ANJU SHARDA. In that round, you have scored 6 points. And now, our final round. Peter ALMOND, your moment begins now. The groups Depeche Mode, Yazoo, and Erasure have which British musician in common?
No, pass.
Vince Clarke. Complete the title of Paul Simon's 1997 album, Songs from the...
Heart.
Cape Man. Which opera has the subtitle The Useless Precaution?
No, pass.
The Barber of Seville. In which decade did the Star-Spangled Banner become the national anthem of the USA?
The 1890s.
No, it was the 1930s. Which song by The Who contains the line, I drunk myself blind to the sound of old T-Rex?
Pass.
It was You Better You Bet. Pia Jesu and In Paradisum are part of pianist Louis Lorty's 2020 album celebrating the work of which composer?
Pass.
It was Foray. With music by Dan Gillespie Sells and lyrics by... Peter ALMOND, in that unfortunate round, you were scoreless. And so, at the end of today's semi-final of Counterpoint, the final scores are: third with 10 points, David HALE. Runner-up with 16 points, Peter ALMOND. And our winner and through to the final with 21 points, ANJU SHARDA. Well done, ANJU SHARDA. I'd like to offer thanks and commiserations to the other two of you after an entertaining contest. One more place in the 2021 Counterpoint final remains to be filled. We'll be deciding it next time, so please join us if you can. And remember, if you've missed any of the details of the music we've played today, it's all listed on the Counterpoint pages on the BBC website. Goodbye.